Howdy ho there, good buddy. We're just some John Deere guys hanging out here on the Zeal cigar review. Big shout out to Ryan Pena, a friend of our shop, who sent us these awesome John Deere their hats, farmer hats, that's right. Have I ever been on a tractor? Yes. Did I grow up in Ohio around cornfields? Yes. Have I ever been to Cuba for a cigar? No. We're talking about Cuban cigars all next on the Zeal Cigar Review.
Dude, so this is kind of like a trifecta for us.
How's that?
So, Ryan Pena,
yes.
customer from,
yes.
been watching you for a long time, still watches you even though I'm here. He was nice enough to send us, he works for John Deere.
He does.
And he sent us these really cool hats, which Brad has already taken off.
I just have a certain hat that I
Well, you can't wear that one backwards, it looks goofy.
It looks stupid, I'm sorry, dude.
Yeah,
if I had a better John Deere hat that I could wear backwards, I absolutely 100% would.
Snapbacks and tattoos.
Yeah,
anyway, somebody brought us a cigar to smoke.
Oh my gosh. Aaron, huge shout out to my dude Aaron. Aaron, you know who you are. I'm not going to blow you up your last name, put your social media on here or anything like that. But Aaron brought us 2 Cuban cigars, which are actually the Epicure number 2 Deluxe, okay, from 2019. Check out this beautiful, look at that beautiful Epicure Deluxe from 2019. I cannot wait to get into this cigar because first off, we're going to be talking about Cuban cigars today. When we first, how many Cuban cigars we've had, our favorite Cuban cigar, all those things and such. But in order to smoke these Hoya de Monterrey Epicure number 2 Deluxes, you know what we got to do? We got to cut, light, and
smoke. So that's only 2 of the things that somebody gave us today.
Yeah, there's more. There's more.
There is.
We have a new sponsor.
I mean, kind of.
It feels like a sponsor. So we have a friend of the shop that is basically a regional manager or something for this sports drink company that's run by...
Yeah, he works... I think he runs the distribution center.
Does he? Okay. So Devin Booker from the Phoenix Suns.
There's a collective of guys from the NBA that all... kind of chime in on this. So the biggest 2 that I remember right off the top of my head are Devin Booker, Phoenix Suns, Charles Barkley, obviously a legend, and then there's a couple guys I think from Chicago. Because the only 2 places you can find these right now are Arizona and Chicago.
Yeah, and you can find them on Amazon.
Oh,
they are on Amazon, so you can find them on Amazon. We've had them before. We're going to have them while we're smoking our cigars. Again, I am breaking the carnivore diet for the sake of friendship. But I'm looking forward to smoking the cigar and getting into it and seeing how really, you know, the lime's been my favorite so far. So seeing how the lime actually pairs with this. But let's get into it. What's a dry draw for you?
Grandpa's old woodshed mixed with like the tack room.
Real woody on the dry draw. Really woody.
Maybe a little bit of like a black licorice.
Okay. I didn't taste the licorice, but I did taste a lot of wood.
Dude, I'm gonna try this one.
Yeah, get into it, man.
It's the only one I haven't tried. Dude, I feel like we got to get Devin Booker cigars now. Devin Booker, come talk about Coco 5 and drink some cigars, bro.
Or you could smoke your cigars.
If you drink them, bro. If you drink a cigar, that'd be some shit.
Yeah, this is interesting. Very interesting. It's not like I haven't had a Cuban cigar in a long time. I had one just the other day. I've had probably about 6 in the last 4 or 5 months. And if you're wondering, I don't buy Cuban cigars, so people usually just give me Cuban cigars to smoke out of their own stashes, and they're like, hey, what do you think about this? It's a very small Cuban cigar, meaning it's like 5 by 52. I think it's like a little fat Robusto, basically. A lot spicier than I thought it was going to be.
Ooh, really nutty aftertaste, though.
Not any nuttiness yet. That spice is overwhelming for me, though. It's just really, really spicy. But it is raising my testosterone level. Let's talk about this. There's a study done in 2016 and another one done in 2020 with the correlation between nicotine, guys who use nicotine products, and testosterone levels going up. So, why do you think that is?
I mean, it's a stimulant. No clue. I wonder if that matters with like coffee and stuff too.
Yeah. Well, I think there's a few things that guys who smoke cigars tend to do. That guys who smoke cigars are a little less risk adverse, if you would. So there's probably other parts of your life that you're not risk adverse in, meaning that your probably adrenaline goes up at certain times. You do more riskier things. Maybe you work out a little more, and that doesn't mean if you work out and you don't smoke cigars, you're a wuss or anything like that. But if you do work out and you do smoke cigars, your testosterone has a higher chance of going up. And guys who are more risk adverse tend to stay away from risky things, so your adrenaline's not spiking and everything else like that. So I'm just trying to find the correlation. Now, it's fully inconclusive in the study, and I'll link it below so you can see for yourself. But I don't know why that is. I don't know if there's a strong correlation. It seems like there's a mild correlation, and guys like Andrew Tate have talked about it with like Tucker Carlson. So I'm just really curious of why that is, you know. And as we're smoking 2 cigars that, you know, realistically are a real treat for us, given to us by a friend, I think it's worth a little bit of a discussion.
If anything, it's probably something more similar to like a placebo, where because you feel better as a man or you feel more masculine doing something that society deems bad or dirty or masculine even.
Yeah, masculine, yeah, for sure.
And so it could set off some sort of a chemical trigger inside your brain that maybe releases more testosterone or something like that.
This is not a statement that will...
Not approved by the FDA.
Yeah, this is not a statement that I mean to isolate my sisters of the leaf, but inadvertently I will. Cigars have traditionally always been masculine. You know, so majority of people who smoke
there's
cigars...
There's even guys that'll look at a girl and say, that's disgusting, I'm not interested in her because she smokes, whether it's cigarettes, whether it's cigars, whether it's dip. I know girls that dip, bro.
Do you really?
Dude, do you not...
That's where I would draw the line,
Do you not understand that this is the most fitting thing I have on today?
Yeah, you are a hillbilly, dude.
I literally I know girls that would swallow horseshoes of Copenhagen, and the dudes couldn't even do a lip of it. Yeah, dude, I know a few of them.
Those are some hardcore farmers chicks.
There's something I don't know about.
Well, I'll say this for the record: while the study's inconclusive, I think it's really interesting and how
because it does dip.
Yeah,
it does using
it does talk. It does talk about any kind of tobacco product with nicotine in it.
Okay, so nicotine is
talk about that
in general.
Yeah, nicotine in general. So even the little bitty dip packets that I use, you know, would also increase testosterone. Now, I would say that one of the reasons that they're doing so much testosterone testing is because testosterone in the past, like 50 years, has dramatically dropped because of the foods we eat, the hyperprocessing that they go through, all that kind of stuff. So
pesticides.
Back in the 50s, the average man's testosterone was 50% more than it is today. Now, there's things you can do to help that, to be honest with you, like working out, staying active, things like that. Eating less plants actually helps that. Eating more meat actually helps raise your testosterone level. Working out with heavy weight raises your testosterone level, and obviously smoking cigars raises your testosterone level. But I mean, with that, I think it's just interesting to note that that's a conversation going on in the medical world, which I think is really interesting. That does pertain to us because, you know, we are in a tobacco-related product review world.
Spice is kind of going away. It's still there a little bit.
It is going away, but
more of that woody, earthy, cream soda-y kind of note for me now.
Yeah, I get a little bit of your grass and hay. I get a little bit of that grass and hay, that barnyard grass and hay. The spice lingers, but it's not nearly what it was at the very beginning. It waned off very easily in the very first part.
Yeah, it reminds me a lot of like standing right outside the tack room, because like where our tack room was, we built it into the side of the barn, and then the left side to the tack room was where we would put the sawdust, and then to the right of that would either be hay or chicken coop, and then above would be hay. So if you stood right there on the outside of the door of the tack room, you could smell the sawdust, the little bit of the leather from the tack room.
Okay.
You could smell the hay, and a little bit of the manure from the stalls on the other side of the barn that we put in. Mm-hmm. So like it just kind of took me back to standing like right there.
Okay. Yeah, because like when I stood outside my tack room at the house, I thought the exact same thing. What the heck's a tack room? Most people out there have no idea what a tack room is. What's a tack room?
You don't know what that is?
No, dude. I didn't grow up on a farm.
No, that's like where you store all your saddles and stuff.
Oh, okay.
So like you put the saddles, the reins, and all the leather and shit that goes.
Let me know if it tastes like your tack room, not tap room, tack room. You know, so. But yeah, so a tack room is basically where you put your saddles and put everything up for the horses and everything.
Yeah, you hide your bridles, you put your boots and stuff in there. And just keep it kind of its own little room.
Well, because I was raised in Ohio, I definitely have been on one or two farms before, and it definitely does have a lot of that barnyard hay.
Yeah,
that grassy hay.
But there's a sweet creaminess.
There is. I'll agree with that. There is a very good sweet creaminess to it.
But that spice does kind of sneak up on you now and then and hit you in the back of the throat.
Yeah, it's very good. It's a very good cigar. Now what's interesting is, you know, the reality is this is 2019. This came out in 2019, and it came out specifically for a certain location I believe, in Mexico that services Cuban cigars. So whenever I hear that, I always worry about, oh my gosh, are they fake? We know fake Cubans are very, very prominent today. They really are. So one of these, first off, these were given to us by trusted friends, so we're trusting that they're not fake. The second thing is it definitely tastes Cuban. Now, let me ask you this. When you think of tasting a Cuban cigar, what are prominent notes in most Cuban cigars?
For me, typically, there's going to be a creaminess somewhere in there. If they're a little younger, I equate like this cardboard kind of taste to it. I can't put anything else to it other than like a cardboardy.
Okay.
But there's always like a grassy hay, a creaminess, and then there's usually a little bit of a spice. It's usually lesser than it was on this one.
Yeah. So one of the old heritage stories of Cuban cigars is that when they would roll Cuban cigars, a lot of the rollers would actually have an Italian soda or vanilla cream soda alongside as they were rolling cigars. And so they would actually drink the cream soda, and even when they were testing the cigars, they would try to match it with the cream soda. So a good Cuban cigar will have some of those light vanilla creamy notes, if you would, which I definitely do taste lighter, not heavier, but very light and ever so slightly in this cigar in particular.
Yeah, that spice, if it didn't have the spice, it would be textbook Cuban. Mm-hmm. So like if it wasn't a Habano, if it was like just a normal Cuban shade drone.
Yeah, that spice hits you.
Yeah.
That spice definitely hits you. I would say the spice is probably at a 5, a solid 5 right now. I'd say it started off probably like a 6 or 7 or 8, like depending on how you felt about it. I felt like it was pretty strong when it started out.
I mean, it's still it just tingled my nose on the retrohale. I'm about halfway through the first third, almost.
Nice, dense, rich smoke. It really is delicious.
I'd say it's probably my second or third favorite Cuban that I've ever smoked.
Okay.
Right now, if it is.
So let's talk about our favorite Cubans we ever smoked. So what's your favorite Cuban you ever smoked?
I believe the same person brought these to us. It was the Epicure number 2. It was a Maduro. Mm-hmm. It was the first Cuban Maduro I've ever seen, personally.
Okay.
That was really good. We might have smoked it on camera.
Okay. One of my favorite, the Behink. Yeah, 52. The Behink 52. Cohiba Behink, or Behike, or however you want to say it. Very good cigar. Very, very good cigar. I also had the Boulevard number 2, I believe it was called, from 1991.
I remember you telling me about that.
Yeah, a buddy of mine got it for me. That was really good. I've had several different Cubans. I've had Monte Cristos. I've had lots of different Cubans. I haven't had a Trinidad Cuban.
Okay.
I want to try one of those sometime. What's a Cuban cigar you'd be interested in trying?
Probably a Behink. The OG Cohibas.
Yeah, I heard they were going
because that's the one that everybody's. You see everybody posting on Instagram. Right. I got one of these.
Well, dude, they're like when I bought them, I split a box with a buddy, and they're $50 a piece.
Yeah.
For us. Now they're like at $300 a piece. It's crazy, And we had another customer in here this past weekend. We were looking at Cuban cigars online, and he was telling me about different Cuban cigars. And I can't remember all the names of them, but he told me one that I'd never seen before. He's like, "That's a very good cigar." I'm like, "Really?" So it's really interesting, but unfortunately, until the embargo is lifted, you can't purchase these at any reputable cigar shop here in America just yet. I believe you can purchase them in Mexico and other places outside of America.
I'm interested what yours is going to taste like with the lime, but try that orange real quick.
Did you just have this orange?
Yeah.
So we're swapping spit. There we go.
Let's do the old waterfall. Don't go chasing.
Like Sunny D.
A little bit.
Yeah. Like Sunny. It's pretty good. It's very good.
Really good.
Yeah, it's really good.
But try it with the cigar.
Okay. Let's see how this works. Product placement. Yeah, it brings out like some vanilla, obviously citrus.
Yeah.
Works really good with it.
That's what I'm saying. It almost makes me wonder if like maybe we don't pick up citrus notes very well. Like maybe there's some citrus on this that we're not getting.
That's really, really good.
Dude,
the lime is better, dude. The lime is so much better on this one.
What?
Try the lime with this. I'm going to tell you what I think it tastes like, okay? So I want you to try it. Before you try it, I'm going to tell you what I got.
Don't tell me and let me see if I get it first. Don't taint it.
It's okay.
Don't taint me. I love that when it's almost like drinking the lime at the bottom of a popsicle, but like not being too limey. Huh.
I'm going to tell you what I think, and be straight up on what you think about it. Okay?
It's definitely better than the orange.
It is. Now, ready for this? I got lime otter pop, dude. I'm all about the otter pop right now. It's 100 in hell outside. It's great. The AC has been fixed back here. If you guys are wondering, it has been fixed. Yeah. That is absolutely worth trying. If you haven't tried the Cocoa 5 yet, absolutely try it. And it's got a lot less sugar than Gatorade. I think it's got like 14 grams of sugar in the whole thing. Yeah, it's really, really good. Sodium potassium, and it's coconut water, right?
It's a mix, but it's got coconut water, regular water. It's like 26% juice.
Yeah,
but I don't know if they're
really
considering the coconut water as juice.
Okay,
but
I like the label that just came off. The ash is hanging on there. Look at that ash, perfect on there.
I knocked mine off on incidentally.
I mean, it's obviously great. So we're going to take a pause here, and we'll come back and tell you a little bit more about the Cuban cigar experience with these cigars in particular. So be right back. All right, guys, so we are back, and we're kind of at the nub or the halfway through point, or kind of pretty much all the way through this cigar, if you would, by nature of the fact that it's a 5x52. It's not very long. I'd say the smoke time in this has probably been about 35 minutes, maybe to 40 minutes. Altogether. But tell me your impressions of the Epicure number 2 from Cuba 2019 Deluxe Edition.
I would probably say that I equate, like, when I talk about the cardboardiness, that might be the youngness on the Cubans. Mm-hmm. And I don't get as much of that out of this, and that could be the age on the cigar.
Okay.
Which would be, 4 years?
Yeah.
Age?
Yeah.
It's very, very good. Is it better, is it better than 40%?
That's a little bit of a stretch.
You know what I mean?
So the hype about Cuba is if you like that grassy hay and you like that earthy, and it's that unique Cuban flavor, then you're definitely going to love Cuban cigars. So because we're probably exposed to so many different cigars, and what I have found is that a lot of guys that only smoke Cubans have only been exposed to Cubans, or they're just kind of diving into Cubans. They don't do anything else because they believe that they have the top-notch cigars of all time.
Yeah.
And that's not necessarily true, especially nowadays with Nicaraguan tobacco being probably some of the best tobacco that's out there.
Yeah.
So
or Caribbean.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And
Caribbean
I've had
tobacco.
some Caribbean tobacco where they won't tell us where the tobacco came from, like which island it came from. All I can say is it was in the Caribbean, and it was incredible.
Absolutely. So, in all honesty, I would say that this cigar is very good. I would probably say my smoking experience has been probably a solid 8.5 to 9. To be honest, it's been a very good smoking experience. And for people who want a good introductory Cuban that won't break the bank,
so about $30 a pop.
Yeah, $23 to $30 a pop. That's what I've seen if you're outside the United States of America. But I think it's a very good cigar. If you're looking for an introductory cigar and you've never tried a Cuban, you want to try a Cuban, this is a decent Cuban to try.
Yeah, I would imagine that a lot of our UK and Canadian customers can probably speak to a lot of these cigars. I would say I see a lot of them smoking Cubans.
Yes, absolutely. In fact, I had a guy from Australia actually in here recently.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And he was telling me about all the Cubans that he smokes there, but it's just astronomically expensive there.
It's like a paycheck in Australia.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Box of cigars for a paycheck. That's been our experience with this Cuban cigar. What's been your experience with the Epicure number 2 Deluxe? If you've had it, if you haven't, what's your experience with the Epicure number 2, or just Cuban cigars in general? Drop a comment below because we'd love to hear what you think about Cuban cigars. And for the Zeal Cigar Review, I'm Bradley. This is JB, and we're out of here like last year. Peace.